Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right, it's a Write That Down Wednesday here on the show, and we're all over the place. We got Declan sending in remote predictions via satellite from, I don't know, somewhere in Southern California. We got the sports dad, 3.5 hours of sleep after Timberwolves' ugly loss in Game 1. AJ from Judd's Hockey Show, and some various other Score North projects. And I'm sitting here in Toronto, Canada, for the Radio Days North America Conference. Very exciting. So we're all over the place, and we'll get a guest listener predictor in too.
Big game 2 tonight. Leafs and Panthers, right?
They're very excited about hockey here. I was telling you on Flagrant Howls.
Huge.
I just want to talk like Wolves and Warriors. No. I want to talk football. They're like, we're gonna talk about the Edmonton Oilers 5 comeback victories in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I'm like, all right, sounds good.
If you're going to dinner tonight, leave like 45 minutes earlier than when you want to be there, because it's gonna be packed in the streets, I bet.
Yep. Yeah. In fact, they've got the plaza outside the Leafs rink that just absolutely gets packed. And we got the Sam Bennett cheap elbow on Stolars. We got controversy.
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on here. So, all right, we're going to get into our Write That Down predictions here like we do. We're the only show in America with the stones enough to put statistics next to our predictions. But, Judd, tell us about MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air for a moment, if you could.
I'd love to. You know why? Because they have done right by Sports Dad, and that's the most important thing. I've told you guys for a long time. Sports Dad does not allow a lot of people in his home. But when he does, that means he trusts you, and MSP Plumbing, Heating and Air have done a fantastic job. And you know what? It's getting warm outside, so that air part becomes incredibly important. And have I got a suggestion for you? Join MSP's Total Comfort Club for $8 a month, and what you're going to get is an AC tune-up, a furnace tune-up, and a plumbing check. In other words, you're going to avoid problems before they start. You're going to get priority service. So if you need the AC fixed, guess what? They're going to be there in a jiffy. And if you do need repairs, get 10% off service. Give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check them out at callmsp.com. Callmsp.com, because if Sports Dad trusts them, so should you.
Also, North American Banking Company is the sponsor of Write That Down every Wednesday here with their 6 metro locations. They are a Twin Cities-based banking company since 1998. Maple Grove, Roseville, Shoreview, Hastings, Woodbury, and 50th in France. And whether you're looking for just a better banking experience with the basics, the checking, the savings, or maybe it's something bigger. You need help with a mortgage. You need help financing something, a project, a new business. Check them out, North American Banking Company, and find out what separates them from some of the banks that maybe are more national and less personal. nabankcode.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankcode.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. All right, so here's how it works. Every single week, it's 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody on the show. They must be quantifiable. Those are pretty much the only rules. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. The season runs from Super Bowl to Super Bowl, so we're just like, I don't know, we're going into like the second quarter of the season here. And listeners, if you want to participate as a guest listener predictor, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app like Matt did, and we'll get you on the show sometime here. Okay. Are you guys ready? Judd, are you specifically ready to be held
accountable? Yeah, I am. It happens every Wednesday. I'm used to it by now. I see a lot of red.
You're lucky there's nothing off the board for you because we are in the kind of doldrums of NFL news. So in the absence of things coming off the board, I will highlight some interesting things still on the board, like your prediction that the next head coach of the New York Giants would be Bill Belichick. Now, we left this on the board because technically, like, there hasn't been a next head coach of the Giants since you made this prediction. Brian Daboll is still there. But based on Bill Belichick's recent media cycle, how confident are you feeling that the Giants might hire him back at some point?
Oh, I'm feeling more confident than ever in his OC, Jordan Hudson.
Wouldn't that be great?
So his gal can be his OC. I think this is a slam dunk
now. Well,
now.
Josh McDaniel would probably come back as the OC. She'd be the defensive coordinator, right?
She'll be whatever she wants to be, Phil, and you don't get in the way of that, okay? She runs Belichick. You know what? Josh will work for her. So if she tells Josh, you're the equipment guy, then he's the equipment guy.
So good luck with that one.
Thank you.
I had nothing come off the board, so we'll highlight this one. I said it'll be documented or made public that JJ McCarthy is in the facility on a Tuesday during the season, not a short week situation. Listen, apparently he's been in there like every day since he was drafted.
Yeah, I think this is going to come true.
And we can't really. I'm certain he was in the building on a Tuesday last year, but that doesn't count because he was rehabbing.
Right,
so,
he had to be.
So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Okay, listeners, one thing came off the board here. Cade had a parlay that kind of blew up in his face because it started with the Vikings will draft a running back. And then he was very optimistic that running back would have 25 or more explosive plays. The Vikings running game would have a higher rushing success rate than last year, more rushing touchdowns than 2024. But they didn't draft a running back. So those are the dangers of parlays, kids. Be careful with your parlays.
Mm-hmm. Don't try this at home.
No. Okay, and then old Dex, nothing came off the board for him. So still on the board for Declan. He said the Vikings will sign or acquire a former first-round pick quarterback between now, I think this was like a couple weeks before the draft, and the start of training camp. Now, Sam Howell was a fifth-rounder, and Max Brosmer was undrafted. But, I mean, he still has until training camp for this thing to get paid off in some roundabout way. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was a first-round pick.
So, yeah, he was going Rodgers, Flacco, or Tannehill, right?
Yeah, was Flacco? Yeah, he was first round pick.
First round pick.
Rodgers feels like the most realistic one out of that group right now, still, right? Or am I kind of off the map?
I wonder because this morning the Steelers traded George Pickens to the Cowboys.
That's right.
Was that Aaron Rodgers pulling some strings behind the scenes? Like, listen, I already worked out with DK Metcalf. He's kind of high maintenance. I can make that work. I don't want this other guy also yelling at me for 4 months. So one of them's got to go, and I feel like DK Metcalf is more established. I feel like that feels like Aaron Rodgers putting his thumb on the scale.
Yeah, I saw. Where did I see something with Tannehill's name still being tossed around? But I think Dex is going to be wrong now. Yeah. But much like my Belichick prediction, it does remain on the board.
So we'll leave that on the board until the start of training camp. So on the season so far here, and again, it's early. Once we get to the actual football season and training camp, and we start getting some sample size off the board, this could shift, but I have a 55% completion percentage, Judd 46.5%, Declan 32%, listeners at 28.5%. Judd, you and I are the only ones with touchdowns so far. We have 2 apiece, Declan and listeners. Still looking for their first touchdowns. Career stats dating back 4 years. Declan leads with a 36.5% completion percentage. Judd and I both just a tick under 35%. And listeners at 24%. Listeners and myself tied with 60 career touchdowns. So, all right, there's the accountabilities here, gentlemen. Age, if you could bring our guy Matt into the mix here, making his debut, supporting the Purple Daily trucker hat. What's up, Matt?
Hello, guys. Great to be here. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tell us about your jersey there. What are you rocking?
Oh, so this is it's 20. So I mean, Darren Nelson, I don't know, whatever. But no, it's really because my wife and I got married in 2020 and we built our house in 2020. And the name on it is kind of the name that we gave our house that we built. So it's I'm kind of under your guys's rule that I'm not wearing a jersey of, somebody who could be my son. So I did get the JJ signed jersey there. So
that's awesome. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good addition.
Framed and signed. So I wanted to get that before it went up there.
And by the way, that is awesome. That is totally within our rules. Like our rules are don't wear the jersey, but the McCarthy signed framed is a great piece to add to the collection. So
yeah. I just recently got that. I plan on putting it up somewhere, in a man cave type thing.
Tell your wife living room, honey. It's going right in the living room. See what happens. Worth a laugh.
She might agree with that because she was with me at the draft party and she loved every minute of it too. So she supports the Vikings just as well. So
yeah, let's normalize the man cave as the living room. Okay?
Yes, exactly.
We shouldn't have to hide our man caves off in some side room or a basement. Let's make it the main living room. Let's do it.
I've tried to tell Dawn that. I've said I got some great prints that could go, right above the couch. Like Target Field, Met Stadium. Let's throw that out there. Let's say.
We need more early 80s North Star things in our living room, Don. Yeah. Let's make that happen.
Some bobbleheads just scattered throughout the house.
Yeah. So, Matt, we're going to start with you. You'll make your first prediction, then over to Judd. We've given AJ the option to make predictions. He may or may not jump in with one if he's feeling squirrely. We have Declan via satellite. And then I'll round it out. So the floor is yours, Matt. What's your first prediction, man?
All right. The first prediction, and these do have a theme. So last year against the Giants, in Sam Darnold's first game, he was responsible for 2 touchdowns. I think JJ will be responsible for 3 touchdowns his first start.
Okay. Say at least 3 or exactly 3?
At least 3.
At least 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Off the record, are you envisioning 3 passing touchdowns? Are we gonna crazy legs McCarthy going to run a couple in? What are we thinking?
For a scramble.
It could be. I mean, my next prediction does involve rushing touchdowns. So, So it could be a rushing TD. It could be, 3 passing TDs. Could be 4. I mean, I don't want to put a ceiling on the guy. I mean,
no. The sky is truly the limit. Yes,
but it comes in a big week 1 win. That's all I know.
That's the most important thing. Yeah. Yes, correct, Judd. Yeah.
Take that, Packers.
That's right. All right, Judd. What's your first prediction?
All right. My first prediction is a guy that we talked about a couple days ago. Isaiah Rodgers, the new Vikings corner. Very bullish. The team is Brian Flores very bullish on him. Write this down. He will be named to the Pro Bowl this season. He will be a Pro Bowl player this season. I think he is. I think if Brian Flores takes that much of a liking to you, something is good about your play that probably has not been consistently uncovered. I think their theory on him is, you all say, we got to get more cornerbacks. Like, who's starting? Who's doing this and that? And I think that their answer is, in Rodgers at least, that they got a free agent that they wanted. I think he's going to play a lot. I think he's going to start, and a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah, I mean, also, the bar is pretty low because even with, the Pro Bowl games, guys sit out. It used to be a game. Now it's they have, a long drive contest.
Don't kill my great prediction.
I'm just saying it would be great.
Enthusiastic prediction.
It's a good prediction.
Why does the truth have to get in the way of that prediction?
Is he able to be the third wave of guys who want to just sit at home?
You know what? I'm going to mute you guys. I don't want to hear this Isaiah Rodgers slander.
Okay, AJ, you've got these Declan predictions here squared away. Do we know, is he doing these from the West Coast, or did he do these before he left?
It looks like he did these. I can't really tell based on the background that he's at. He's either in a basement or he's
it's his house
in a hotel, and I can see the San Diego sun coming in. I'm not sure. Here's Declan's first prediction.
All right, write this down. Coming at you live from beautiful San Diego, a Wales. I am not going to finish that Anchorman joke. It's late. Been traveling all day, so let's get these on the board. Write this one down. Let's go with the schedule prediction. The Vikings will play the Bengals on a Thursday night football game. Thursday night football game for the Vikings and Bengals. I have no steam on this. I have not heard anything about this. In my best Greeny voice, I just think Joe Burrow, JJ McCarthy, Thursday night football, lock it in.
Okay. Yeah, they've tightened the screws on Thursday night football. It's no longer you don't have to have every team represented anymore. They're looking to put actual games on Thursday night. I could see that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would not be surprised if that is a primetime game. I might have predicted. Did I predict that as a primetime game in mock schedule 1.0?
I think you did. I think you had it maybe as a Sunday night game, if I remember. So, okay, write this down. I think this is kind of a roundabout JJ McCarthy prediction using TJ Hawkinson as the conduit. I think he's going to really lean on TJ Hawkinson. So write this down. TJ Hawkinson will lead the Vikings in receptions in week 1. TJ Hawkinson will lead the Vikings in receptions in week 1. Write it down. I could see off the record 8 catches, 102 yards, a red zone touchdown. But he definitely leaned on tight ends at Michigan up the seam, so he's going to do the same thing. And if Hawkinson stays healthy, could be his first 1,000-yard season of his career.
Yeah, I think he has. He wasn't bad upon his return last season, but I don't know that he was effective as we would have liked. I think he's going to have a big bounce back year because he's healthy now. He didn't have to rehab. There's a lot of good things there. I would not be surprised if you are correct.
All right. Okay, Matt, what's your second prediction?
All right, second prediction, still JJ related. The first one was kind of short term, his first game. This involves his first season. I'm going to do a parlay for his stats that he'll have. And I'm kind of comparison to Darnold because I think they were pretty even in skill level last year. I think JJ might have had a chance to beat him out there in the beginning, but I think they are kind of pretty neck and neck. So that's why I'm grabbing the Darnold comparisons. So last year Darnold threw for 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, and had 1 rushing touchdown. So I think this year with the Vikings more focusing on the rushing attack, I don't think JJ is going to throw for as many yards. Plus, he is stepping onto the field for the first time. I think the VR training and all that, I think that's really going to help him. But I think he's going to throw for at least 3,500 yards and 25 touchdowns, but then also run for at least 5 touchdowns.
Okay. So he'll account for 30 some touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's a parlay. So the official prediction is 3,500 passing yards or more, and then 25 or more passing touchdowns. And then are you
Correct.
including the rushing touchdowns as?
I'm including the rushing touchdowns as well.
Okay.
I want to make sure this is a touchdown for us fans here.
Yep. No, that's good. All right, Jed.
deep.
What's your next one?
All right. So I'm going to go with a 53-man roster projection pick here. I'm going to give you this. Kobe King will beat out Brian Asamoah for a spot on the 53-man roster out of training camp. And here's why I think that. So King was a 6th-round pick from Penn State. Asamoah is an effective special teams player. But it's very clear, I don't know why, but it's very clear that he does not fit into what Brian Flores is comfortable with defensively. Like, he just doesn't really play. Kobe King, in my opinion, probably was scouted closely on film, at least by Flores. So I think Kobe King is earmarked to be a special teams guy. But I think privately behind the scenes, Flores is going to say that he actually, if he has to play, fits more of what I want in a linebacker than Asamoah. So I'm going with Kobe King over Asamoah to make the 53-man roster.
Also
Asamoah
from a team building standpoint too, you're not going to extend Asamoah after this is the last year of his rookie scale deal. So
Good point too. Yeah.
if you could bring someone else in and reset the clock on that roster slot for 4 years, because the problem is if you try to, let's say Kobe King is good, but like you try to slide him through to the practice squad. Well, he doesn't have to go back to your practice squad. He could go sign with somebody else's practice squad, or somebody could pick him up off waivers. So you want to, I think it's smart roster building. If those guys are neck and neck or close at all, that you would keep the guy that is going into his first year versus last year of his contract.
Well, and plus, if he somehow fits the description of a backup linebacker who could play possibly more than Asamoah in Flores' view, it makes total sense.
Yes. Okay, back to Declan via satellite here from San Diego.
All right, prediction number 2. Let's go with this one. At least 2 UDFAs will make the Vikings 53-man roster. So when the 53-man roster gets set, we'll see at least 2 UDFAs make it. Vikings have some good history of having UDFAs make the 53, and I think we'll have multiple again. So at least 2 UDFAs make the Vikings 53-man roster. And a bless you to my wife, if that made the audio.
Wow, that was an aggressive sneeze.
I was wondering.
I always
allergies
feel-
is out there in
I have
San
a
Diego.
loud sneeze too, so I can.
I thought it was like outside my house because I'm like, where did that come from?
Did you feel the specks of saliva from that?
Gesundheit, Kelsey.
So all right, I think the over under at like 2.5 UDFAs is because Logan Brown makes a lot of sense. There's a couple guys we talked about with Thor. Okay, my second prediction here. I think, write this down. This is kind of a long-term one for the season. By the end of the year, or I'll say at the end of the regular season, the Vikings will have a top 5 PFF graded offensive line in either pass protection or run blocking. I think they separate them. So there's the pass pro grade and the run block grade. They will have a top 5 grade as a unit in either one of those or both. Pass pro, run blocking, road grading, moving bodies, specifically in the red zone, please.
Yes, I like it.
Let's make it happen, guys. All right, Matt, what is your third and final prediction?
All right, third one, still JJ themed. So short, then season. Now we got career prediction.
Oh, here we go.
Hall of Fame.
He will not win a single Super Bowl. He will win multiple, gentlemen. Jonathan James McCarthy will win multiple Super Bowls with the Minnesota Vikings. Come on, Judd. Come on.
All right, here.
Amazing.
Here
We
you
don't
go.
have the audio.
Dun,
you can do
dun.
your own ode to joy.
Yep,
But yes,
there you
that
go.
warrants
Thank
the
you.
flag.
There you go.
Amazing. You know what's gonna be
Love it.
really interesting is when they get the first one. We can't take it off the board, obviously, because it's got to be delivered. So this would be, if
I'm
this comes to
long-term.
fruition, one of the most epic predictions in our
Thank
Write That
you.
Down database.
Thank you.
Here's a question. In TCO, do they have a trophy case built for the Lombardi or multiple Lombardis, or will they have to build one? Because I got to imagine if you win it, it's not like you throw it in a current trophy case, right? Like you'd probably build something special in a special area. So like it's not like, you know what, let's take that 1969 NFL championship trophy out and put our new Lombardi trophy in.
No, I feel like didn't a team or was it a player? I feel like that was a story in the last couple of years that there's like an empty. Was it Kirk? Does Kirk?
Oh,
Cousins
in
have,
Kirk's
like,
room. Yeah, in Kirk's personal room. His like man cave that's like a hidden room in his house, which is actually really cool.
Okay.
Yes, that he's got. Well, you know what? He's never going to have to worry about it. So
Well, hey, listen, he might ride out 5 more years as a clipboard holder. But was that specifically because that was on the Netflix show, right? Was that for a Super Bowl, or it wasn't MVP? I don't think.
I think it was Super Bowl.
No, it was Super Bowl.
That narcissistic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he just think that he gets to just keep the Lombardi for whatever team he would potentially win it for? Like they don't want it. It's just Kirk Cousins now in his house in this secret room where he pulls a lever. Like I don't understand.
They might
How
get a
does that
replica
work?
one.
Okay.
Does everyone get a replica?
It's a good question. You can probably request replicas, though. I'm sure. Like once you've got it.
Like if if the Vikings win a Super Bowl this year, like Jalen Naylor, would he get like a replica, or is it just for the?
No, he would get a ring. The team gets the trophy. But my question is, like, I could see Kirk commissioning a replica, like
I could see that too.
having it made. But here's the thing: if Kirk wins a Super Bowl holding a clipboard as a slappy, does he really celebrate that with a trophy in the room? Like I always thought it would have to be like, oh, you're the starting quarterback, which I never feared that would be a problem for Kirk.
I think you could justify it as like it's an ode Super Bowl. Listen, when I was throwing for 4,500 yards every year, my team and my coaches weren't good enough. My defenses weren't good enough. I am owed this
You see,
Lombardi
Mackie,
trophy.
who needs to go to work on Tuesday? I can hold a clipboard and win a Super Bowl.
So I love it, man. Wow, Matt taking his swings here on Write That Down. All right, since you've got this life-changing platform here, really, on Purple Daily. Is there anyone you'd like to thank that helped you get here today, Matt?
Well, of course, my parents for, raising me as a Vikings fan. I mean, here's a picture of me as a literal as a child. This was in
Look at that,
October
dude.
of '76 with my Vikings shirt on there. So I was raised a Vikings fan. We would go up to training camps. I remember going up there for when Herschel Walker came to Minnesota, and then watching the defensive players, because I just enjoyed watching football and seeing a rookie who was just amazing, and that was John Randall. It was really, really cool. So and then another time at training camp, it was kind of nice back then. You could walk around and go in, and my friend and I, Jason, the executive coach Jason,
Yeah.
we walked through Mankato State, and the year that Randy Moss was drafted, and we were walking around the building in between practices, and came upon him shooting baskets in the gym, and we actually shot baskets with Randy. It was really cool. He is an awesome guy.
Awesome, man.
He's been my favorite Vikings player since then, ever since that moment. But really my wife, because she is, supports me in everything I do, and she's such a great supporter. So, and it's really great watching you guys and watching the Vikings. Ever since Kirk Cousins left, it seems like such a breath of fresh air has emerged, and it's just wonderful to watch the Vikings again. So thank you very much for doing your stuff every day, and I appreciate you.
No, thank you for the kind words, and the Kirk slander got a little out of control here on this episode. I feel like.
Shooting
Hey,
baskets.
you guys brought him up. I didn't want to bring him up.
Shooting baskets with Moss would have been great, because he was a great player too. He is a great hoops player. In fact, he was high school teammates with Jason
White Chocolate
Williams, who McHale loved as a guard. So
yeah, Jason, he was flashy, but ultimately they needed the more responsible Mike Bibby to get those Kings teams over the top. But yeah, they were teammates. So
that is correct.
Awesome, Matt. Thank you for coming on the show here. Appreciate you, and hopefully we can see you again sometime, man.
Thank you so much. Peace.
All right, we'll say goodbye to Matt. Before we get to our final predictions here, gentlemen, a shout out to Federated Mutual Insurance Company. So Federated's been around for over 100 years, 121 years now, 1904, helping businesses with risk management and peace of mind, so you can do the things that you do as a business owner to grow your business. They're there with a plan, customized frontline protection to help protect your business. Find out more at Federated Insurance, where it's our business to protect yours. Roku, a shout out to Roku, the official TV partner of Purple Daily, of Mackey and Judd, and that's the thing that connects the Mackeys at the end of a workday or during a weekend, some downtime, firing up movies, firing up Netflix shows, sporting events, especially this time of year. And Roku has that built-in sport zone, which makes it really easy to find the sporting event or the team that you're interested in, even adjacent programming, because you can favorite the teams that you take an interest in. So check out these awesome new TVs, the Pro Series TVs. We have a 65-inch TV in our living room. Got a brand new 43-inch TV in the old home office. Roku.com to learn more or shop at a retailer near you. And then Dennis Kirk is powering Purple Daily here today. It's riding season, full effect riding season in the Twin Cities. Whether you ride motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, DennisKirk.com is your place to be. And coming up here, it's the second annual Minnesota Garage Build Bike Show, powered by Dennis Kirk at Running Aces Casino, Saturday, June 7th from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. It's free to register your bike and attend. You can find out more information at DennisKirk.com. That's DennisKirk.com. All right, Judd, what is your third and final prediction, sir?
All right, I'm going to go to the JJ McCarthy well to end this and give you this one. Write this down. JJ McCarthy will be the NFL Comeback Player of the Year for 2025.
Oh, wow. So he
He's eligible.
qualifies, huh?
Can you win Rookie of the Year, MVP, and Comeback Player of the Year all in one
Can't win
season?
Rookie of the Year. He's not.
That's right.
So he's out on that one. But because he missed the season, he is, despite the fact he has not taken a regular season snap, he is eligible for Comeback Player of the Year.
In baseball, he would be eligible for Rookie of the Year because you have to have a certain amount of plate appearances,
Right.
to surpass. I feel like football should do that,
Right.
where you can like keep your rookie eligibility, I guess, going into your.
Yeah, I think it's. I think the problem there is like, so the Vikings are going to have their rookie camp Friday through Sunday. McCarthy can't take part, so I think it's more of a like overall thing where they don't want you, like, your rookie year is burned, and so it means different things as well.
Okay.
Because like your contract year is burned too, but in McCarthy's case, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's an overall why they don't allow you to be considered a rookie, even if you sat out your entire first season.
It's a good thing for McCarthy because he's a year closer to getting a bag, but a bad thing for
exactly.
The
He's now assuming they exercise the option, which hopefully they will. He's now 4 years away instead of 5 years.
Yeah. Okay, Declan via satellite here from Southern California. His third prediction.
Okay, third and final prediction here. We talked about this with Dukes. I've already actually made this prediction once. It came off the board as incorrect. So I'm going to make it again, but put a shorter timeline on it. Write this down. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah will have a new contract extension with the Vikings at some point in May. So between now and June 1st, Kwesi will have a contract extension. I don't know why this is taking so long. Get this done. So write it down.
I actually have a Kwesi prediction as well. There's been a lot of Kwesi slander, I feel like. So he's going to get an extension. There's no reason not to give him an extension at this point. I mean, KOC and Flores definitely have a major say in personnel, but Kwesi is the one that has, I think, brilliantly turned over this roster. He has stripped down the bloated quarterback contracts that we complained about for years and years. And now we're going to find out in 2025 about those 2 first-round draft picks from 2024. We saw a little bit of Dallas Turner, but we're going to see probably a lot more Dallas Turner and JJ McCarthy. So my third and final prediction is Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah will win NFL Executive of the Year. Sometimes this is like perception based on, did you outperform your win total projection?
Yeah, coach of the year.
And the Vikings are sitting at 8.5. If this becomes an 11-win team again, not even 14, like 11, 12 wins, and the quarterback that you drafted a couple years ago looks like a guy, and Dallas Turner takes a jump, and the free agent acquisitions that you brought in, again, I think if the season goes the way that I think it will, which is Vikings are really, really good and competitive, I think Kwesi gets some credit from voters, whoever the hell votes on that thing. So Kwesi will win Executive of the Year. Write it down.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna overachieve similar to last year, they're gonna have to show them some more love. I feel like KOC kind of got the love last year. I know there was the big discussion of well, Dan Campbell kind of got screwed the year before. They should give it to him. Look at the season the Lions had. But if they're going off the narrative of what they did for Coach of the Year, where it's like you were kind of being counted out, now you have this rookie, second-year quarterback who's coming off a season-ending thing before he even could take the field in week 1. He made so many moves in the offseason that it's Kwesi is cooking. If all that comes together on the field and they overachieve again and make a run into the playoffs, then I don't see why not.
I think the real question is internally in the league, how much credit does he get? Because if there's a perception that he is just part of the solutions, or but if the Vikings win, let's see, they'd probably have to win about 12 or 13 games, just because it is based. It's like coach of the year is incredible because it often doesn't go to the best coaches. Yeah. Reed could win it year after year, right? But he doesn't win it because it's well, of course they're good. They're the Kansas City Chiefs. They've got Mahomes. So, but it is impressive what the Vikings have done. Whatever their structure is exactly, and I don't really know, they have done a much better job than I thought possible of winning while turning the roster over. And also, I think once Flores joined you guys, I think that was a huge key as well, because now you had an offensive coach and a defensive coach who could both identify exactly what they wanted. And to Kwesi and his staff's credit, they then go out and get that.
Yeah.
So that should not be slept on either.
Yeah, they'd probably have to win the division again, or win a ridiculous amount of games like last year and be a 14-win wildcard team. But if they were to win the division, even with fewer wins than 14, then he's for sure in consideration. So, but the other thing that is interesting is this sort of like who deserves credit, as if it is you can only credit a general manager if they are the sole decision maker. It's like, no, the best front offices and coaching staffs work together to find solutions. If it's just a unilateral front office, chances are it's not going to work.
It's a football guy world, Phil. It's a football guy world. We want football guys. We want Rick Spielman just grinding film until 2 a.m. That's
funny. People think that like Howie Roseman is making unilateral, brilliant decisions with the Eagles and not consulting anyone else, and we give Howie Roseman all this credit. Howie Roseman is like probably in meetings with a bunch of people every single day, telling him their opinions on what to do. But he's the figurehead, and he gets rightfully so, gets credit for being a brilliant team constructor.
Quick aside, did you see that your guy Colin Cowherd has picked the Vikings to finish last? In the division?
Yeah, did he say that? I saw a clip on social that they're going to be like a really competitive last place team or something.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there is a world where the Ben Johnson thing clicks, the Bears are great in the trenches, and Caleb Williams takes a big jump and they win 10 or 11 games. I mean, there's a world where the Bears are a really good team. I don't know that there's a world, unless there's a bunch of injuries, where the Vikings are like a 7-win team, though.
Correct. That's what I keep, unless they are decimated, because I think people are really hung up on the quarterback, but we've talked about this. The quarterback is insulated by a really good team, and I don't think the quarterback's a moron. Like, I don't think he's going to like panic and make stupid decisions and go rogue and throw the ball. Now, I might be totally wrong. I might be completely wrong, but of all the things I've heard, the Vikings finishing in last place, like if I was to have to predict right now, I'd probably put the Bears there. But I don't think it's guaranteed. And again, injuries can play a huge role. Is it guaranteed the Packers are going to be great? Like, I think they're good. I think the Vikings are very, good.
I think there's four teams that all have the upside to win double-digit games in this division.
Correct.
I think that's fair to say. So, like, from that standpoint, it's not a wild hot take, but it does feel like it's funny because the thing that the Vikings have done the best is elevate quarterbacks in the last 3 years and save Sam Darnold's career. So all this angst over their current quarterback situation as a big question mark is hilarious. I think, actually, there is a lot more questions about Darnold and his track record and whether he could stand in there and make quick decisions. I think there was more questions about Darnold last year than McCarthy this year, if McCarthy's knee is healthy.
And they didn't give Darnold this either. Like this is, if they had given Darnold this offensive line, I think we would have felt a little bit, not entirely, but a little bit different about him. When you look now, instead of one, he's got 2 running backs who can play very different roles. He's got an offensive line that you didn't upgrade 1 interior spot. We thought probably maximum 2. You upgraded all 3, including a first-round pick. So, yeah, I look at this offense as a whole, and I see a team that is now, and I like this, committed to run more and committed to prop the quarterback up more. And I think there was as much concern about Darnold not having those things. And, credit to Sam and to KO, he succeeded. So, yeah, unless this team gets decimated by injuries, I have a hard time seeing. There's other teams that I could see being in 4th place in the North Division.
Yep. So yeah, interesting national perspective there from the herd. All right, guys, that is a wrap on these write that down predictions here. I'll let AJ officially land this plane with the graphic, the outro, but he's the sports dad Judd. AJ in for Dex in San Diego. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See you guys.